Right, welcome back. Got some new toys. Multi plus 2, 3000 watt inverter charger, weighs a pissing ton, and we got a lithium 200 amp hour battery from Victron. Fucking expensive them, I tell you. Jesus Christ. So plan of action today is, might have delivery here, but you wonder why your parcels are knackered. Look at the state of that van. There, scruffy sods. All parcels all fell over. Fucking hell, I hope this is not my fucking units. Luckily that was my material, that. Fingers crossed it'll look nice, but we'll see, we'll see. Anyway, back to this. So, we need to get this set up and basically make sure everything works really. So I'm going to whip all these fuses out here so none of the bloody dangly cables are all live. That's my bird's nest I've been putting in. There's a shitload there back of there and everything, and so you can imagine. It's everywhere. So yeah, the idea is get this wired up now, well, test wired, and then make sure all components are working really, and see if I blow anything up as well. Got a jumble of wires down there, okay, which is the inverter charger, BMS cables. I think will go into this bad boy here underneath. So two, yeah, they're under there. So just to make sure everything's working really, I've got the DC to DC charge for check, make sure that's got a fuse in, so I might have to whip that front panel up under the seat. And then I've got the MPPT to check, make sure the solar panels are working. And then the touchscreen, and then give the battery a charge, and then we'll test the AC bit, see if that works. AC out anyway from the battery. And then we'll see how this goes. Right, we've connected all them up now, so positive neg on, batteries on, and then charge your inverter. I've not videoed me wiring this up because you've probably seen about 3 million videos on bloody internet, and it pisses me off when they're taking these off and they're saying log washer, nut for each one they do. So yeah, have a look online if you want to learn how to wire that up. Right, so we'll switch it off, we'll switch it on. So basically, solar's isolated at the minute, that's turned off. Batteries are isolated, turned off. Ditched all the fuses so we don't short out because I've got a bundle of wires there and a bird's nest, so I don't want to short out. Turn it on, I think. Get ready. See if it goes crack. Oh, I've got my Victron up there ready as well. At the minute I'm just picking up the battery, so we're ready. It fucking goes pop now. Oh, stand back, Jones. Oh, we've got flashing lights. Oh, someone just went fucking bump. Right. Something went bump or it's turned something off or something. I do not know. We've got a light on there anyway, that's smart BMS. We've got power on link distributor. I heard a pop, don't know what that was. DC to DC chargers lit up like a Christmas tree. MPPT won't be on yet because I've not flicked it on. We've got a shitload of bits on there. Right, let's get these set up. Oh. Is that coming on? Or have we just blown that? Let's have a look. You might set the servo up as well, see if that works. Right, best start playing with these apps and start adding these into it, aren't I? Ooh, this is going to be fun. I have got a VRM file for this system, but obviously the Multiplus is a bit different to it. It's what was originally fitted, because I think that was the original one. I'm hoping it doesn't make too much of a difference, like, and I'm not too sure what batteries he had on that one as well. So I'm going to have a tinkle with this, see if we can get it going. Oh, we've got lights on that as well. Tell you what. Oh, hey, we're on here. What's this here now? DC power, 143 watts from the battery. I don't know where that's going. So he's dragging DC power out from somewhere, so someone's pulling a draw. Right. Better crack on with this, see what's going on here now, see what's dragging that current, because that's quite a lot of what is that, and I've got absolutely jack shit plugged into it. So, best not touch any bare metal on the van, had I? See you in a minute. Just blagged me on head then, still think I have now anyway. So, looking at that monitor there, right, it's dropped down a lot now, so just shut the system down and reboot it all again. But solar's bringing in 36 watts, yeah, so that's the solar going in. But the DC power, right, it's drawing, well, it's drawing 8 watts now. But before, it's drawing 120 odd watts. I'm thinking, fucking hell, how can that be drawing? There's nothing plugged in, there's no onto it. I thought the system's not going to be drawing that much watts. So I started the engine up, got it booted up, still more power being drawn out, but then it drops off. So I'm going through everything, checking everything in that. And first things first, I thought the Orion DC to DC charge, I'll check that, which is that little bad boy there. You might see it in a minute, what the issue is, or what I think the issue is. So I started the engine, and it's not charging the battery up. So the main battery here it's losing charge. So it was like 50% before, or whatever it was, and it's dropped off. Then it was like drawing loads of power out of it. But there's no charge. I'm thinking, oh bollocks. So I've gone through settings at apps, checked it, it's in charge mode, and all that rubbish. And then I've just come down for a look at it again now, and if you see here, output and input, right? So input's coming from the Lynx distributor, and then the output is going all the way up there to the front battery. So either I'm going daft or mad, but the way they had this set up was that when it was on shore power, then the power from that, they power in the bloody normal battery, which I don't know why I've done that, but I want it the other way around. So I think we should switch the output on that, switch those round, so the output will be going into the distributor, and then the input is coming from the alternator. All YouTubers say, if you're not sure, consult an electrician, but they always fuck about with it themselves. So let's see what this does. We'll check that. Right, so look at this app now. This is pecking my head in now. Right, so it looks like the function set as a charger. Now, my basic understanding is basic, that this charger should be the opposite way around. So there's a charger, it's got engine detection, and you can change the parameters of your voltage and stuff. But when you put it in power supply mode, it reverses it. So then it's drawing power from the battery back through this system. So it showed me voltage of the batteries at the front. So the vehicle battery is 13.3 volts at a minute. So it's an input voltage, and it's giving me an output of 12.6 volts. But to me, that's just a backward setup, because it's not detecting engine, so it's constantly drawing power from that all the time. So you'd have to keep switching off, or you'd have your disconnect voltages when it comes off and stuff. But tell you what, right, so if we change that back to charger, that should turn it off, yeah. And then what I'll do now is I'll swap that input output. I mean, leave a comment below if you think I'm doing it aspect it all backward, but that doesn't seem right to me. That it's got to be the opposite way around, I think, with regards to that one. Especially for how I want it. I want the alternator to charge it up, and I want it to detect everything and all that shite. So we'll isolate the system now and then swap them round and then see what it does. Here we go, boom. Right, so just swap them over now, and you see my starter battery, which is the van battery, is showing an input voltage now, 12.6 volts, which is pretty about right really, because it's turned off. Charger's turned, the system's off, so let's boot this back up now. Let's get it on here. See, Jones has fucked it up. See, I think he's had it wired where he's charging the bloody vehicle battery up when it's on short. I don't know, it's just a weird setup that. I suppose you'd do that if you're getting out of jail. You know, I think if you wired it that way, say your vehicle battery was flat, and you need to give it a boost, you could probably swap them wires round and then charge up the vehicle battery from like your leisure battery at the back and do it that way. But I don't know if he's done that, but no, didn't seem right that at all. Like I say, not getting no charge. I'd rather charge it from the alternator the opposite way, which use it as a charger. And I think the power supply one, not too sure if that does it the opposite way. And if you flick that, I'd have to read the instructions and have a toot. But anyway, let's get back on here now. So at the minute, leisure, I don't know if you can see that, leisure battery's at 45%, and we've got a 5 watt draw. No, 6 watt draw. So I'm assuming that's just from this system. What's drawing 5 watts, so 0.4 of an amp, 0.5 an amp. And then what we'll do now is bang the solar on. Let's get some charge in that battery, even though the sun's shit today. So get a bit of that on. And I don't know how to respond to that. Don't mind, cock. Don't worry about it. Turn the engine on now. See the alternator kicks in, and we'll see if that changes. So we're going to have more with that now. Right, so we booted that up now. That's all, wires changed, and we're still getting a 12.5 volt. Bearing in mind the engine's running, input voltage. So that's hardly changing that. So if you go to the screen there, you'll see it. So it's, I think John's going to crack at multimeter and see what's going on with this, see what voltage. The alternator's fucked and it's not charging, or there's something not right. Right, let's measure this now. So, negative positive on that. I'm getting, I don't know if it shows on there. Oh fuck. 12.46 volts. So, that's the vehicle battery what we're getting that voltage from. And if we check house battery or leisure battery, it's 13.32 on there. So, boot the engine up again. See if we get a change in that vehicle battery. I might have to drop out the lockout. It has like a setting on it where it locks out the voltage if it drops so much, and I would have thought it kicked in a bit higher than fucking 12 point something volts. Right, so we'll check this now. Engine's running. Let's get leads in here. Fucking hell, you know you need like about 10 hands. Right, so that's on. What we've got 12.38 volts from starter battery, and that's with the engine running. So it's as if the alternator's not banging nor charging. Yeah, it's not good. Let's just hope that alternator's not just gone, because that should be giving some charge out of that. Always a drama when Jonesy does something in his van. Well, turns out we're not getting the 14 volts or 13 and a bit from the alternator. Battery light's not on, so let's start down here, Baz. See what's going on down here. Please think I'm going to fucking do that here, me now. Right, so negative and positive. We're getting 12.52 volts, and that's with the engine running. Right, so engine off, we've got 12.32 volts in that battery. So a bit shady on that one. 12.32, and with the engine running, we had 12.5 volts. There's definitely a current going through it, but for some reason I thought it would have been more than that. I don't understand how it's 12.3 volts or 12 point, just short of 12.4 volts, and then when you fire the engine up it goes to 12.5. And just fucking smart alternators. Right, back to the old DC charger saga. Right, so now we've got voltage there now, and it was charging them. Pissed about a couple of settings. I look online and stuff, and it looks like a few people's had a few issues, you know, with the smart chargers on here. And what I found is when the vehicle's idle, obviously there's not much drawing it. The aircon's on, the lights are on and everything, but it's not drawing loads of power out of it. The alternator's not kicking in until you're actually driving. It was only when I took it for a spin then that I was getting like a good 13.5, 14 volts, but idle you're peaking probably like 12.5, 12.6. So I've put me I think it shut off voltages down or something, down on that, and it's working now, so it's charging the battery up. But I'll tell you what, I've wasted half a day now pissed about with that. So I didn't get much done with that one. Put my bomb sight it back there. So next step is, I think, set up the Multiplus, get that booted up. Place where I bought it from, Energy Monkey. They've been quite good actually, to be fair. I spoke to them about it and he said, oh, we've got a VRM file on for this system, and going to put me in, get a slot booked, and then we'll get it all set up, make sure it's all updated, make sure everything's all running right as it should. Didn't get as much done as I wanted to today, but I suppose I tested the system, got it up and running and that, which is a bonus. Sorted a couple of niggly bits out. The next step, break it all down. Now we know it works. Break it all down, because it can't leave it on that panel there, because it's fucking hell, it's taking up half a van, that. So I need to break it down, squeeze it up there a bit more, best I can, see if I can squeeze in the units, but got to wait for the units to come now, and they're going to be like 4 week, he said. 4 week wait on that. So probably a good idea really, because I don't think I'm going to be ready for that. Yeah, I'm put a couple of panels up there as well, so not much progress really. See you on next, TTFN.